Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me here in the shop today as I finish up the third and final coat on this particular cabinet. I'm building cabinets for my son who lives in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan in a 100-plus-year-old house, the kitchen definitely needs some updating. The whole house needs a little updating, but it's kind of a cool house. But today I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about mental health. And in particular, I want to talk about perfectionism versus procrastination and things being good enough. So my estimation, perfectionism is just a way of procrastinating. As my son told me when he was younger, I don't know if he came up with this on his own or heard it someplace, but I suspect he probably heard it on Star Trek or something like that. But one particular day I was frustrated about how things were going, and he made mention to me that, "Dad, your perfectionism is getting in the way of your efficiency." And no truer statement out of a 10-year-old probably has ever been said than that, and that's true. But it's a fine line between perfectionism and good enough, and honestly just doing things half-ass. So there's a good balance there, but it's good to remember too that perfectionism can be, and a lot of times is, a form of procrastination. So as Mark Daner says over at Daner Made, just get started. And so that's what I've done. I've never built the kitchen cabinets before. Are they perfect? No. But I'm learning as I go, and I think my son, he'll appreciate the effort that I made, and I think it'll be an improvement. One of the things that I like to do to try to get away from the stress of things is perform mindless tasks. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to put that third and final coat on this cabinet. I call it a mindless task. I'm going to turn on some music. Got my computer there in the background on Spotify, and no lyrics, just some good modern jazz music. Norman Brown, Paul Hardcastle, and the like. So I've switched over to a water-based polyurethane. I used to be a big fan of the oil-based polyurethane, but doing this inside, it really smells pretty bad. And maybe not the best technique, and maybe time for a new brush, but that doesn't matter. At least not to me anyways. So back to our talk about doing mindless tasks. There really, I don't think, is such a thing as a mindless task, and some mindless tasks are maybe better than others. Trying to escape our problems, that's never good either, I don't think. Yeah, this is probably going to need a good sanding when I'm done. But even being down here trying to escape my thoughts, I look around and I see things that remind me of different times in my life. Right over here are my late father's golf clubs that I'll probably never use, but I hate to get rid of them. And there are other things I can see in this room. My beekeeping supplies. I see the beekeeping feeders to my right. And those of you that have followed us and watched the beekeeping videos, I made a video about whether our bees had survived the winter or not, and it looks like we're down to one hive. Last we checked, it's been bitter cold, so that's kind of a disappointment, but that's life, right? This is the product I use, Urethane Ultimate Polyurethane Water-Based. As I said earlier, I used to use oil-based and I swore by oil-based, but the smell just got too overwhelming for myself and my wife. So this is what we use. It's kind of interesting that it is basically when you're polyurethaning, try to say that 3 times fast, you're putting a coat of plastic over the wood. So not a chemist, not sure exactly how a water-based product achieves that, but it works quite well. Haven't really tested it out in the wild, as they say, to see durability, but this company, Varathane, they claim that it's a very durable product. So we'll see. I can report back to you later if you'd like. So I mentioned earlier that I like to do mindless tasking, and I guess that's okay, but really what's better is doing mindful tasking, or anything, being mindful. And that just means observing your mind and the thoughts that enter your mind. I've heard it explained different ways, that you could imagine your thoughts as clouds and choosing to let them just go by, or train cars. But we don't have to entertain every thought that enters our mind. We are the observer. We're not the thoughts. Some of you may have heard that before, but we are not our thoughts. We are the observer of our thoughts. So we can choose to entertain them or choose not to. So it's all up to us. So these are what's called shaker style doors. And typically I've seen them just painted, but we're going to put the polyurethane on these as well, because that's what the client wanted, i.e. my son. But I think because of these little raised panel areas here, it's difficult to get in there with the brush and to eliminate brush strokes, because you want to go with the grain when you're doing polyurethane. So the final coat may end up having to be sprayed, and that's okay, because this product is it's made in an aerosol can too, so that might work out. I forgot to mention, these are in fact the adjustable shelves that will be going in the various wall cabinets. And I think a couple of them are probably for the base cabinets as well. Also on these shelves, they are roughly 3/4 inch plywood. The company that makes this plywood, Sandy Ply, they measure their products in metric. So I think it's 16 millimeter, something like that. But 3/4 inch plywood. I made a video on this, the edge banding. The species of this wood is from South America, so there's nothing that matches it exactly, but this is birch banding that is an iron-on product, and I think it actually looks pretty good. It matches very well. The grain's a little bit different, but the grain really varies on this wood to begin with. So I think it's okay. I think it's going to work out. Again, I think the client, my son, I think he'll be happy with it. So a few other essential tools when making cabinets, especially cabinet doors: some graph paper, a pencil, some halfway decent math skills, or at least the ability to know how to use a calculator, and of course, doesn't hurt to have a little bit of a snack, some iced tea, and of course some good music like I alluded to before. So that's going to wrap up this video. It's going to wrap up me working today in the shop. You can see the finished carcasses of some of the upper cabinets here behind me. I really like the way this wood graining looks. So the next video, I'm going to put together some shaker style doors. I'm going to try to put glass in these ones if it's not too cost prohibitive, so they could be used as display cases. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Keep it friendly. I do have feelings, and we don't want anybody's keyboards catching on fire, if you know what I mean. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.